Hello and welcome to a very special beginning of a themed month for the Fine Dining Podcast, the search for the most mediocre restaurant in America.
But this month, we're not looking for mediocrity.
This month, we are looking for the best burger at the 8 chain restaurants that we've decided to include in Septemburger. That's right, folks. We have chosen 8 restaurants, we have seeded them all, and we are doing a special weekly tournament for the entire month of Septemburger. I feel like I'm not allowed to say September on its own. It's got to be Septemburger.
You gotta say Septemburger.
Okay, the lyrics are starting. Theme song.
8 burgers enter, 1 burger leaves. Take a look at the menu, nothing but beef. So fire up that grill and fry up your soul. We're looking for something that's better than mediocre. It's time for a burger September. Yes, it's time for the test. There can only be one. Thank God for burger September. Yeah, we're looking for some perfection on the bun. Just be the best burger that you can be. Somewhere between heaven and ecstasy. I can see that hunger, it's in your eyes. You're going for glory with a side of fries. It's Septemburger!
I am your host, Michael Ornelas, by the way. We got ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I'm your host, Garrett's Work.
And we're pitting these places against each other. We're going to do 4 weeks of first round matches. So today, we're not going to 1 restaurant. We're not going to 2 restaurants. We're not going to 3. We're not going to 4.
We are going to 5 restaurants.
We are doing 5 different places that we have already been to for a standard episode. And those are going to be judged based on the strength of their burgers specifically. We're talking about Fuddruckers,
Islands,
Applebees,
Outback,
and Bob's Big Boy. So these are all places that you can find full episodes. And then in the coming 3 weeks, you will be able to hear episodes from our other 3 contenders. They will be standard full episodes where we are also looking for perfect mediocrity, but their burgers will be a part of this tournament. And those will be the number 1 seed Umami Burger, the number 5 seed Red Robin,
Yum, and the number 8 seed Johnny Rockets.
Yeah. So we've picked all these out. 3 new places, 5 repeats in a single elimination tournament. Round 1, you got to show that you can do the basics, right? So
it's all about the fundamentals. If you don't know how to dribble a basketball, you're not going to be very damn good.
Yeah. And so basic burgers for round 1. Round 2 and round 3, that's when we get into the fun stuff. That's when we're getting into signature burgers, whatever their best offerings are, their most popular offerings. But you gotta get out of the first round to even matter in that regard.
If you don't know how to meat, if you don't know how to bun, you're not going to make it out of the first round.
Yeah. So we are excited to get right to that for you. You will be able to hear the semifinals and finals, which will be lumped together into one episode, the final Thursday of the month. That will come out exclusively on our Patreon. So follow us through all the first round matches the next 4 weeks. We're going to have a lot of fun. A lot of work has gone into this. A lot of burgers have gone into this. Yeah. So let's get to it.
Your table is ready. Follow me. Have you tried our chicken breast? Serving pancakes and ribs, I recommend the spaghetti. We're here to satisfy, not to impress. Your table is ready. Complimentary butter and bread. These walls have road signs. Knick-knack, cowboy hat, good luck cat, autographed guitar, some crap from your city. Behold the tchotchke of mediocrity. Fine dining, just fine dining, fine dining. 2 letters on the sign are shining. Neon flickering, irregular timing. Identify the perfect 5 out of 10. Fine dining. Fine dining.
Hey there, Dynamaniacs. You have the opportunity to win $500 as a part of the Septemburger Burger Bracket Competition. This isn't just about what we think about these burgers. It's about you at home playing along and seeing how well you can predict it. So hit up the website, finediningpodcast.com, download your bracket, fill it out, and in true fine dining fashion, send it back.
Send it back, send it back.
Or just write your selections in the body of an email to finediningpodcast@gmail.com. You have until next week's episode comes out, so this week is a freebie. Send it on in, make your predictions, and if at the end of the month you've listened to all the Septemburger episodes, including the Patreon exclusive finale, and you find that you got the whole thing right, let us know, and you'll be entered into a drawing for $500, the winner of which will be announced on the October 11th episode of the podcast. And we're offering a 1-week free trial for our Patreon. So if you want to hear how this whole thing ends, go try it out for free at the end of the month. Septemburger is upon us. Strap in and win $500! Okay, so the seating for this, we've mentioned a couple of them, but we did have an exhaustive process. We picked our 8 restaurants, and then we ranked them based on the strength of the best burger we have ever had at that place.
You are rated based on your historical performance.
Number 1.
Our number 1 seed, Umami Burger. They were the best burger in Los Angeles.
Easily. That for both of us, when we're like, okay, Umami Burger. Unanimous, number 1 seed.
Number 2.
Number 2? I feel like there was some discussion about, but I think it was
we settled on that.
We had a pretty comfortable confidence in putting Islands at number 2. Islands, fine burgers and drinks. They're our 4th episode of the show. We went there a long time ago, but they're a solid burger.
They are a strong burger joint.
Number 3.
Our number 3 seed, we drove all the way back up to San Francisco to have, once again,
Fuddruckers.
Fuddies, our second Patreon episode.
It's always Fuddies.
Yeah. Strong performer in the burger game, Fuddruckers. Number 3 makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Number 4, I think, came with a little bit of my experience there, Outback Steakhouse. I always get the burger at Outback. I'm a staunch lover of Outback's burger. The Bloomin' Burger. You know, you take the bloomin' onion, the perfect appetizer, the sauce for it, you put that with a burger, it's going to be a good performer, but can they get by with the basics?
That is the question.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Number 5. They are definitely a notable name in the burger game. Red Robin. Yum. All about it. I'm excited to do that. You know what? Next week, let's do Red Robin. Let's get the middle seed out of the way. We'll close the month out with the best and worst.
I'm down for some bottomless fries. I love the bottomless fries there.
Yeah.
Anytime I can walk into a public place and be attached to the word bottomless and not get arrested, hell yeah.
Dumb.
Number 6.
The number 6 seed, this was a place that you were really pushing for.
Applebees.
Yeah.
Oh, I've always been a fan of Applebees. I can't say it's good or great, but I've always been a fan.
Number 7.
Number 7, Bob's Big Boy. A place that I kind of have a mixed relationship with. I want to like Bob's more than I think I do in practice, but they're not bad.
They're definitely not bad.
But they're
Bob's
appropriately the number 7 seed.
Yeah, that's never been a place I go to get a burger. They're like a fast food diner to me. It's great breakfast.
They all actually used to be right across the street from an Umami Burger, so I would never go to Bob's because there was an Umami across the street. Then the Umami closed, and whenever my mom comes to town, she's always like, I have nostalgia for Bob's. I want to go to Bob's.
But it's a different Bob's out here than she's used to from the Midwest.
What I will say, though, is I do love just the feel of a Bob's. It really plays into that kind of older school style. It reminds me of my grandfather, just like the vibe of a Bob's.
The dingy, yellowy diner ceilings.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Number 8.
And then speaking of old school, our number 8 seed, Johnny Rockets. Another place that I grew up liking. I thought it'd be a fun pick for this. There's one at Universal City Walk, not too far from us. And that rounds out our bracket. So we'll get into the matches in just a bit. But first, I want to know about the history of burgers in general. We don't have one specific restaurant to go into the resty facts. That is resty as in restaurant, not rusty as rusty.
So many people think.
Yeah, I mean, it is our fault for naming it a thing that's close, but rusty makes no sense.
No, they could be very antiquated facts. They could have developed rust and oxidation over the many, many years.
That is, I guess, a way to look at it. But no, you and I are restaurant boys. We're resty boys. And these are resty facts. But we're not doing a resty fact roundup this week. because we couldn't just pick one place, so we've decided to look up the history of the burger itself.
Yes, so we have the full history of the hamburger.
So join us for this week's
Burger Fact Roundup.
Now, we are still rounding up facts, which means we have to whip them into place. My mom, who listens every single week, is not a fan of the whip noise that we use. She finds it a little abrasive. Your mom is a fan of the whip noise that we use because she thinks it's thematically appropriate, a thing that I agree with. So, we're gonna keep the whip, but we gotta put a little something under there.
We've already whipped cows, which no cows were actually whipped or harmed in the making of that sound effect.
No, I think just the sound of biting into and enjoying a burger. On 3, Garrett. 1, 2, 3.
According to the Library of Congress, Louis Lasson created the first official hamburger in New Haven, Connecticut in 1900 as a charbroiled ground beef patty served between 2 toasted slices of bread.
I feel like unofficially, it's gotta go back further, right?
Oh, it does. Unofficially goes back further.
Okay, but in terms of like a branded hamburger, we're looking at 1900s.
Yes. Honestly, the only reason I chose this first was the Library of Congress said, this is the one. However, the origin of the hamburger is hotly contested as many claim to have served the legendary first burger. Some of the contenders for Burger Prime are...
Burger Prime. Chili's, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Chili's, Applebees,
Yeah.
Red Robin.
Yum.
So, here we go. Frank and Charles Menchie's in 1885 at the Erie County Fair in Hamburg, New York. They supposedly ran out of sausage and resorted to selling seasoned ground beef between slices of bread. They dubbed their sandwich the hamburger after the city they were in.
Yeah. Okay. I'm buying that as an origin story. What else have you found?
That same year, Charlie Negreen, who is nicknamed Hamburger Charlie, smashed a meatball between 2 slices of bread and sold it at the Outagamie County Fair in Seymour, Wisconsin as a hamburger.
See, at that point, it should be called a Seymourger. A Seymourger? A Seymourger.
That's just close to something I don't want on a burger.
Yeah.
Oscar Weber Bilby, no relation to Weber Grills, is the first documented person to flame grill ground beef patties.
Okay.
Starting in 1891, he and his wife hosted an annual 4th of July party and served these beef patties on homemade buns.
Didn't you say that other one was 1885, though?
Yes. None of these are
they're
documented, proven facts.
I see. So these are like the conflicting reports.
Now,
okay.
This couple actually had full hamburger buns, but they did not call them hamburgers. We have more. Fletcher, Old Dave Davis, claimed to have started selling hamburgers at his Athens, Texas food stall in the 1880s and at the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair.
I love the names of all these people. Can you just read them, just the names?
Yeah, okay. Frank and Charles Menchie's, the Menchie's brothers. Charlie Negreen, Hamburger Charlie. Oscar Weber Bilby. And Fletcher Old Dave Davis.
Like, these all sound like mimes.
Now, the Old Dave story was listed in McDonald's History of the Hamburger.
Okay.
They actually created a publication about
So
that.
they're throwing their hat in that ring.
But Old Dave did not use the term hamburger, and according to locals at the time, said he was selling just beef sandwiches.
I mean, that makes sense. The one in the Hamburg County Fair, that's the one that just I buy it the most because of the name. The etymology makes sense.
And that's actually one of the most popular
theories.
The hamburger traces its origins back even farther to Rome between the 1st and 4th centuries in a dish called Isichia omenata, which contained minced beef, pine nuts, peppercorns, and white wine formed into a patty and baked.
So they got them beat by quite a bit.
Yeah. That was the historical first mention of a ground beef patty.
By like give or take 1,500 years.
Yeah. Throughout the ages, various cultures have created their own ground or chopped beef dishes too, but the term hamburger didn't arise until the late 1800s. Within the next few decades, the hamburger really started to take off, largely thanks to White Castle. the nation's first fast food restaurant, which was founded in 1921 in Wichita, Kansas.
Were they the first fast food restaurant?
Yes.
Wow.
And mind you, I think it's a technicality that they're the first fast food restaurant because they're the first restaurant that was founded based on the principle of cooking their burgers as quickly as possible.
Okay.
So
I like just picturing just a panic in the kitchen. Just like, oh God, they ordered their burger 3 minutes ago.
they had a similar thing going on. Like, you know how McDonald's really blew up thanks to like an assembly line?
Mm-hmm.
White Castle kind of did the same thing too. Time magazine named the White Castle slider the most influential burger of all time in 2014.
I hate that. I say this, I'm not a fan of White Castle.
I love it. Let me
love it?
That.
You
I don't
love
it? Non-sober Garrett really enjoys digging into a crave case.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Something about it, anytime I've had a White Castle available to me, everything else feels like a better option.
Once McDonald's burst onto the scene, the rest was history. American history.
We love our burgers.
Today, on average, Americans eat 3 burgers per week. That is over 50 billion burgers per year.
That's a lot of burgers. And I mean, there was a time in my life where I'm probably downing 4 or 5 burgers a week. I'm not proud of it. I'm probably down to 7 burgers a month if I had to guess.
Wow. I'm minimum 4 a week.
Are you really?
Yeah. Just because, like, okay, if I go to In-N-Out, you don't just get one. You get more than one burger.
I just get a double patty, but I still get one.
According to the Oxford English Dictionary, the term burger wasn't used as an abbreviation for hamburger until 1939.
Yeah, we'll take our time. We'll pronounce the whole word. It's the 1930s. We don't got much else going on.
The most expensive burger ever created wasn't one of those gold leaf-plated caviar monstrosities, but it was grown from cow stem cells at a cost of $330,000.
That's a... It's a pricey burger.
Yeah. In 2013, a Dutch team grew a hamburger consisting of 20,000 small strips of muscle tissue, and according to the 2 lucky or unlucky taste testers, the taste and texture were off, even though it did indeed look like a burger.
Yeah, I imagine because like the muscles didn't really get used. I mean, did they do anything to like simulate muscle movement or anything like that?
No, which I think that's a missing element.
Yeah.
I want to see like a burger just sitting there being electrically stimulated and pulsing on my plate.
Like those things from the 90s where it's like, get abs now. And they're just little things that like you shock your abs and you just sit there and get a 6-pack allegedly.
I've never gotten a 6-pack from those, but I did get to use one once.
Did you?
And
really?
It was a great workout.
Was it really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Last year, in 2022, 2 separate lawsuits were filed against Burger King, McDonald's, and Wendy's over consumer fraud relating to the overstated and over-advertised sizes of their beef patties.
Meaning someone felt that they were owed more than they got. I mean, I guess when you literally have a burger called a quarter pounder on your menu, if someone takes it out and weighs it and it doesn't match up to a quarter pound, you know, you kind of have a case.
Actually, one of the witnesses in the case is a former advertiser that worked with these companies.
Oh.
And this advertiser said that they take pictures of not fully cooked beef patties. So it looks juicier, it's bigger,
because it
is heavier.
It hasn't had that shrink yet from cooking
and then it has that little glisten.
Yeah.
So you see a commercial burger that's undercooked. In the end, I guess everyone lies about size.
Ah! Is that it? Is that the end of Burger Fact Roundup?
Yeah,
is that really how we're ending it?
Yes.
All right. That'll do it for Burger Fact Roundup.
Lying about the size.
That's enough burger facts. I think we can get into the meat of it. No pun intended. We're going to do our first matchup, Islands versus Bob's Big Boy. We went to Bob's Big Boy all the way back in episode, was it 10 or 11?
11.
Episode 11. We took my mom. The score was heavily biased by her nostalgia.
and the terrible service we received.
That's right. We had really good service this time.
This guy was amazing. Maybe they recognized us and were like, you know what? We need a second chance. Let's show these guys some love.
Yeah, I'm sure they're listening to every episode of the pod. They're like, oh no, what did they think of us?
The guy that owns it does have our business card.
Does he really?
Yeah, I made sure to get it to him before our first episode released.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if he ever listened.
Yeah. So we went into Bob's Big Boy. Before we get into the burgers that we got, I do want to talk about Garrett staving off a panic attack.
Okay, diners are loud. I'm used to that, but this diner was exceptionally loud, and we were seated right next to this area where the bussers just slammed their plates, trays. Like, we were in the detritus zone, and it was way too loud.
The detritus zone?
Yes. It's just where they leave their crap.
So, round one, of course we're going basic. We're getting the original Big Boy, which is what Bob's Big Boy kind of puts forth as their main thing. So they've got, I guess, a case to be made for having a strong first round performance potentially, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I look at their original as kind of like a Big Mac Plus.
I think that's a good way to describe it. The bun in the middle, I thought I didn't really notice it that much.
I didn't either. You don't really notice the middle Big Mac bun.
But that's where you have the opportunity for, when you get that bun with the little crisp edge around it?
Yes.
That's where you have the opportunity to really shine with that and add that texture in the middle of your burger. And I feel it was a missed opportunity based on what we got.
That's true. Oh yeah, just slather it in butter, get it nice and crispy.
Get a little toasty, yeah.
Yeah, it was almost just like a placeholder in the middle of our burger. It had a function. That was it.
But what I really feel the function was it prevented them from really going all out and giving us the thicker patty. The original Big Boy comes with 2 patties, and they're both a little bit thin. And I feel that it was to its detriment. So the way we're doing this Septemburger tournament is you gotta win the first round to get to your later entries. That said, we're eating all the entries.
Oh yeah, why would we not?
So all of these places that lose in the first round, we still tasted a second and third round burger for each one, just in case they got to the finals.
And that just means we got to eat more burgers. So
yeah. And so Bob's Big Boy, I think, did itself a disservice because those thicker patties were quite a bit better, I thought.
They were different, I'll say that.
And then with the original Big Boy, you have like the red relish, as they call it.
Yeah. It's
kind of their secret sauce,
yeah,
right?
It's a red relish mixed with like some of the tomato juices, something like that.
You and I had differing opinions on it.
Yeah.
It was my least favorite part of it.
And I don't want to say this was my favorite part of it, but I think it's better than the Big Mac sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I like the red relish better than the Big Mac sauce because it adds a little extra sweetness to it. Normally, I'm not a fan of sweet.
To me, I was getting like a sour, like the relish. I don't know. I don't think I'm a relish guy. Between
you're not a pickle boy.
Yeah, I'm not a pickled thing guy. Pickled thing person.
You're not a pickled thing person.
I'm not a PTP. So my score for the original Big Boy, yeah, I thought it was messy. The secret sauce was actually too tomatoey for my liking. The outside bun texture was good. The one in the middle, I just wanted a little more from. The burger meat on its own, we tried, and I thought it was a little disappointing. I go 5.78 out of 10. It's not terrible. It's above, quote unquote, perfectly average, but it's right in that average range. So that's about where it sits with me.
I think this is the complete package of a burger for me. It's moist, it has a bunch of varied textures, and each element alone combined makes it great. Well, I'll admit, each thing alone is mediocre.
Right.
But when you put them together, the sum is greater than its parts. So I will give this a 6.51.
So that means the original Big Boy, the first round score for Bob's Big Boy is a 6.15. And that goes up against our number 2 seed, Islands.
Islands has some work to do.
To clear a 6.15?
I'll say this. Not to give away anything about the basic Islands burger, but for both of us, this was our first time trying it.
Let's cut to that. Islands brought it.
It did. Islands is one of the most consistent burger places I have ever been to.
See, I've had some underwhelming burgers there. So
I never have had an underwhelming meal at Islands.
I'll say this. I have never had one so underwhelming that I thought Bob's had a chance here. But I mean, hey, it's the number 2 seed for a reason. So let's get into it. The basic burger at Islands.
The Big Wave.
The Big Wave. That's what they call it. And
one of their original menu items.
Let me tell you something, Garrett. Let me tell you something, dude. I just turned into Hulk Hogan all of a sudden. So the Big Wave at Islands was really solid. And for the first time in my life, I not only tolerated, but enjoyed the balance of pickles and mustard on a burger.
Yeah, it really reminded me of like a Cuban sandwich.
Little bit,
It
yeah.
had that vibe.
Like the mustard was light enough that it didn't dominate, because those are both very strong tastes.
Yeah, because it was like an American yellow mustard, which is very pungent.
I thought this was good. This was a 7.12 from where I'm sitting.
My favorite part about this burger was the bun. It was so perfectly crispy.
Mhm.
You could literally hear it when you bit into it. This burger was amazing. I'm going to go 7.36 for it.
7.36. So that means Islands, the Big Wave Burger, their first round entry into Septemburger, gets a 7.24. That soundly defeats the original Big Boy
As expected.
from Bob's. Pour one out for our fallen meaty boy.
Yeah.
What a
phrase.
What a phrase. So Islands moving on to the second round.
Yeah, that wasn't even close.
A full point of differential. And these are the basics, right? Your basic burger, you're scoring over 7 at an Islands.
I think Big Boy, they chopped themselves off at the knees by having really thin patties.
Yeah.
The double thin patty thing, I don't think that's conducive for a burger tournament at all.
Well, I mean, I do like me a double meat thin burger. I just don't think they did it as well as others. Okay, well, we have one more full matchup to do in this episode, but why don't we take a little break in the middle and do Outback's part of the bracket right now? I love Outback burgers. When I go to Outback, kind of my default is the burger.
I almost always get a disappointing steak there. It's a steakhouse. I get steak.
They threw steakhouse in the name, which I think was a mistake for Outback. I feel like they didn't need the word steakhouse and people would view their burgers, I guess, a little bit more fondly.
Outback Burger House?
No, just
Burger Shack.
Just Outback. I don't know. Just Outback. It doesn't need to be put in a box, Garrett.
And now, a word from our totally not made up sponsor.
Oh, hi there. It's your favorite sponsor, Jub, and I'm back with another business idea for you. Is your business niche? Do you sell specifically one thing or at least claim that you specialize in it? That's silly. You want to have mass appeal, baby, so go broad. Are you a sandwich shop? Not anymore, you're not. With Jub's guidance, you'll just be a shop. Hell, maybe even just a building. Have an air of mystery about you. When people go in, they'll be like, oh, this could be a really good taqueria. Or maybe they're a puppy mill, which is a bad thing. So obviously, if you were one, you wouldn't want to advertise it. Too specific. It's gonna make people mad. So go broad. Why paint yourself in a corner? Let the customer tell you what you sell. You could be the only store in the world that sells both pogo sticks and World War I memorabilia. I don't know, just have a little bit of everything. If you think this is manageable, I'll help you out. All you gotta do is call me. Not on a phone because I don't have one, but just walk into a crowded intersection and say, hey, I'm looking for that guy about that thing. Again, don't be specific. I'll know it's me. I'll find you. Anyways, I gotta get going. I've been told I'm liable if anyone gets hit by traffic as a result of trying to track me down. Okay, bye. Outback's matchup is going to be against Red Robin.
Yum.
So we'll play out the match and see how this burger did against Red Robin next week in that episode, but we can talk about it now. The Outbacker burger. Now, it did come with the option to include bacon.
Thank God we did.
The bacon was good.
It was really great bacon.
Yeah.
It added a little saltiness that I think the burger was lacking.
Sure. So go ahead and list off what were all the things that came on this burger.
Lettuce, tomato, onion, house-made pickles, and mustard.
Which is what we got, plus the bacon. So we took our first bite. Very thick cut of tomato. It was a good tomato, but it just kind of overpowered, I thought.
It did. My initial thought was, what the hell, is this a BLT?
Right.
It tasted just like a BLT from the first bite.
So I kind of took that bite, clocked it, took out the tomato, took out the pickles because I'm not a big pickle guy. They were solid pickles, though. I didn't hate these pickles.
Yeah, they were like spicy seasoned pickles.
Once I had this thing, I guess, kind of customized down to my liking with, I had the bite of tomato, tasted it. It's part of the score, but also the bite I had where it just was without it and the bacon and all that was really good. I thought for a base burger, 7.18. Not a crazy high scoring burger, but a very solid baseline burger. A very solid first round burger. So 7.18 for the Outbacker burger.
I agree that once items were removed, you got more of a taste. So I took off the pickles and I took off the tomato. I wanted to just boil this down to the essence of burger.
Was the meat good?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the meat was good. It was juicy, even though I ordered it medium, unlike your medium rare.
We shared.
We did.
So I had medium as well.
I feel weird having medium rare ground meat from a chain restaurant.
And I will throw caution to the wind.
Remember when we went to Planet Hollywood at the airport?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, my airport steak needs to be medium for my own safety.
Yeah, but they peeled it off the tarmac, so...
We don't know this burger meat wasn't shipped in a cardboard box from Australia.
We don't know, but I'm willing to risk it.
One thing I liked most about this burger was the bun.
Mm-hmm.
It was soft, buttery, and it had that golden edge around it. You know, when they grill it, the crispy golden ring.
The little edge ring that you just get that little crunch on biting.
Yes, there's just something texturally appealing about it.
I love that, yeah.
So, without the tomato, without the pickles, this was boiled down to meat, bun. So I watched a TikTok from the executive chef of Umami Burger.
Uh-huh. Our number 1 seed.
Now, this chef, his idea of burgers, you should have no more than 3 toppings on any burger.
Sure, which is just a philosophical point. That's not necessarily factually the way it should be.
But I'm 100% in that camp. I want to taste the elements of the burger.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been referred to as a burger purist in that I tend to want bun and meat to be the very primary things. If you've got some sort of sauce that you're shilling, great, highlight it. Onion is usually a freebie, especially if it's like the fried onion strings. And then beyond that, I don't know, don't do too much, but I'm willing to judge a place based on what creation they want to put forth.
All that being said, once I simplified this burger down, it was excellent. 7.51 for this basic burger.
So you went higher than me.
I did.
So that means the Outbacker burger in the first round gets a 7.35.
Wow.
That's a good entry for the first round. So I guess we'll see next week how it does against Red Robin.
Yum.
You did it. 7.35. That's even higher than Island's first round score.
That's going to be really hard to beat.
Yeah. So
they need 5 yums.
Yum with 5 M's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yum. That was 6.
Oh, sorry. Now, I will say, though, there was something a little bit weird at Outback. We couldn't help but observe something that was just a little off the beaten path, so to speak.
Yeah, it was pretty forward of this restaurant to just assume things about us.
So when we were in Outback, they had just a little card on the table that said, "Let's be friends with benefits."
Wow, Outback.
And I'm just wondering, what's going on over there?
What's going on over there? What's going on over there? Should I worry? Should I care? What is going on over there?
Michael, what's going on over there?
What I think is happening is, all right, we've all accepted all these chain restaurants, regardless of what type of cuisine they are, no matter where they say they're from, they're American.
Yeah.
Like Olive Garden, American. Outback, they say they're Australian, but American.
P.F. Chang's, American.
I think they had someone come in and they were given the instruction, Outback wants to go down under. And they were an American. They didn't know what it meant.
Outback wants to go down there.
So their marketing guy was just like, oh, how forward of Outback? Sure, I guess we'll take it this way. And they send out these little things that are let's be friends with benefits, which is for their rewards program. They had a coaster that said, hey, mate, you're looking hot. Cool off with the wallaby darned. And then also on that same coaster, it just says, no rules, just right. Like, I think Outback is like really pushing like, hey, man, come to Outback. We'll swing with you. Bring your wife.
Wow.
We'll swap. Yeah, Outback is just getting real horned up.
Wow. So they're trying to be like a swingers club.
Yeah, I think that's what Outback's doing. They brought in a guy who just misunderstood the assignment.
Oh, he had like this really huge mustache, a Hawaiian shirt on.
Like open Hawaiian shirt.
Hairy chest, gold chain.
Sandals. Absolutely. And has like a name like Chip.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for sure Outback is trying to get in our pants. Only because one guy misunderstood the Down Under assignment. I think that's what's going on over there. Okay, Garrett, are you ready for the main event of this episode? We've got Fuddruckers.
Oh, yeah, Fuddies.
Versus Applebees, the number 3 seed versus the number 6 seed. We drove all the way up to San Francisco to try out Fuddruckers again.
And this is the only Fuddies left in the entire state of California.
So we were committed.
That's how much we've historically loved this burger. It's worth driving for the podcast while we have other things to do in the area.
Yeah. So Fuddruckers, we started with just the basic burger, right? That's what we got to do. It's a round 1 matchup.
And I think Fuddruckers is the perfect place for that because you
kind of build it to your liking.
Yeah, they give you bun, they give you meat. Then it's up to you to go to the salad wagon and get all the condiments you want.
We went pretty light on this burger because specifically, I wanted to taste the bun. When we went for the February Patreon episode, I remember Fuddruckers blowing me away. And just kind of my memory of it, it put that newfound respect back on the Fuddruckers name.
Because you walk in, you see the buns being freshly made, you get the smell.
And the burger was very well made. I didn't have that same experience this time. It was still good. You know, we treated it pretty lightly. I just put a little bit of onion on there, a little ketchup just to have some moisture, something just so it's not a dry burger. I'm going to be honest, the bun did not shine through this time the way that it did the first time. This was still very good.
Yeah.
I really did like this. But if I'm being honest with you, compared to the other burgers we've talked about this episode, this isn't even in the 7s for me.
Wow.
I'm at 6.84.
Whoa.
So still not awful. A full point higher, more than a full point higher than Bob's Big Boy. But yeah, I wanted more out of this. I wanted, like, the bun just, that's what I was there for, and I didn't get what I wanted.
I don't know what happened with your bun, but I had a prime bun experience.
Did you really?
I did. It was soft and airy, but it was really crisp and buttery.
Really?
I got a crunch. We had the same thing. I don't know how
we
our
split
bun,
the burger.
We split the burger. I don't know how our buns, did I get the grilled half?
Yeah, maybe.
Did you notice crispness on your bun part?
No.
And I thought the meat, as usual, wonderfully seasoned and juicy. So this is exactly the greatness I expected. I'm going to give this an 8.01.
Okay, well, I guess that carries my score a little bit. So Fuddruckers, you're going to go up against Applebees with a 7.43.
That's strong.
That's higher than Outback and Islands just got.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess you and I differed. I mean, I won't say like substantially. I didn't dislike this burger. It didn't capture the magic that I had when we went a few months ago.
I feel like the only difference between ours was the bun.
Yeah.
If you would have grabbed the other half, you probably would have had a better experience.
And maybe you would have had a worse one.
Yeah.
So Fuddruckers, your competition is Applebees. The number 6 seed really impressed me.
Me too. I had no idea I was going to do this.
No, well, because you got the whiskey bacon burger back when we did our proper Applebees episode.
And I gave that a 5.00.
You were not a fan.
No.
I mean,
Like, I remember
it's right in the middle. It's mediocre, but you want good.
my biggest problem before was banana flavored barbecue sauce. What?
Not intentionally, it just resembled that.
Yeah.
Like, I do want to state that. They're not advertising a banana-flavored barbecue burger. It was your interpretation of the taste, which I don't agree with, by the way, having had it.
Mhm.
But that's not the burger that we're talking about here in the first round.
No, it is not.
In the first round, they literally just on their menu, it's just the classic. It's the classic burger. We got it. On it, it had red onion, tomato, lettuce, pickles. Did it have like a mayo or a sauce or anything?
I didn't notice. I didn't
downed
notice
the
whole thing.
It didn't
was
need
really
it.
good.
If it did, it was subtle. But man, this was an amazing, classic, first round, basic burger.
I feel like this is the absolute pinnacle of your backyard family barbecue meat.
I was shocked. I really was. I took a bite and I just kind of looked at you and I was like, this isn't right. This is just Applebee's.
Yeah, the edges of the meat were crispy too. It's like,
The bun was perfect texture.
oh my gosh. All of the vegetables were supremely fresh and crispy.
Now, we went at lunchtime and we were there right when they opened. So we had to be the first order in.
Oh yeah, we were, for sure.
So everything was just presumably clean grill. They had the time. All the pieces were in place for them to attend to this
And
burger.
you bet they used that time.
Yeah.
We were the only people there, and it took forever.
Imagine having bad service when the servers outnumber the patrons in the restaurant. And they were short-staffed. It was like 3 people working in
just
front
like
of house.
yeah, there was like a manager, a bartender.
2 waiters. And
when one of them was training the other one.
yeah, and then we got ignored for a while.
The manager finally came over. He was like, "Has someone taken your drink order?"
Oh, did you get manager vibes from Ponytail Guy?
Yeah, it said it on his name tag.
Oh. I don't take an adult male with a ponytail that seriously, so I just didn't assume that he had what it took to become a manager.
Hey, whether or not he has what it takes to become a manager, his Warhammer game is sublime.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, at least do the respectable bun like you do. When you do a ponytail, I'm like, something's wrong. I need to talk to him.
Yeah, no, when I have a ponytail, something is wrong.
It's a red flag. I was like, oh no, Garrett's been having the voices again. But yeah, this basic burger blew me away. For a first round entry, 7.46.
Wow.
We're in like the high good to almost great category. And this is with almost nothing on it.
Every single element of this burger was great. This is simple yet elegant. I'm going to give this a 7.69.
So that puts Applebee's in the first round with a 7.58.
Wow.
That is a good, solid entry from Applebee's. Color me impressed. I had I won't say low expectations. I had middling expectations. This far surpassed it. This would get me back into an Applebee's.
Oh, for sure. This definitely would.
Yeah. And just like that, Applebee's upsets Fuddruckers.
Wow. Okay. That was an upset.
I didn't expect that to turn out that the number 6 seed over the number 3 seed. We've still got 2 more matches to conclude in the coming weeks, but we've already got one upset.
I've never in my life until this been thinking and said, I want that Applebee's burger again. Like, there's a world's first.
Well, we had 3 Applebee's burgers, so we get to talk about their next round burger, which is going to be the Whiskey Bacon Burger. So that will be their entry into the second round. And that does it for all of our matches in this episode. And you know what, Garrett? I gotta say, we ate 15 burgers between these 5 places. We got 3 at each place, split them in half, thank God. So 7.5 burgers each.
But I guess the average American does eat 3 hamburgers per week,
meal.
as we
Per
know.
meal.
Per meal, yeah. It's what we're going to have to do to finish this.
And I gotta say, it's way too much.
This is
Oh, yeah.
Our burger intake this month for you to give you the content that you deserve is, in fact, way too much. Well, that does it for the intro episode of Septemburger. Thanks for joining us. enjoy the little song that we had made once again. And actually, you can go to our social media pages, TikTok, Instagram, at Fine Dining Podcast, or our YouTube. I made a music video for the Septemburger theme song with our composer, James McEnelly, who does a bunch of our music. You can check him out at Ramshackle Music. But go check it out, because it is ridiculous. We're rocking out on the surface of a burger patty, and it just brings me joy. Anyways, we'll see you next time. Have a fine day.
No. Have the best day this month.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're looking for good stuff.
Yeah. Have the good. No.
I was repeating the thing that you said.
I just changed it because of the thing you said.
Have the
Have a good day. Have a bud day. What's a bud day?
Have a bidet.
Have a bidet. Yeah, have a bidet.
Have a bidet. Clean up that burger mess.
Burgers enter, one burger leaves. Take a look at the menu, nothing but beef. So fire up that grill and fry up your soul. We're looking for something that's better than mediocre. It's time for a burger September. Yes, it's time for the test. There can only be one victor of a burger September. Yeah, we're looking for some perfection on the bun. Just be the best burger that you can be. Somewhere between heaven and ecstasy. I can see that hunger, it's in your eyes. You're going for glory with a side of fries. Septemburger! The search continues. We still need the perfect five. The search continues. Like and subscribe. The search continues. Our journey did not conclude. The Mother Effing search continues. Write us an iTunes review. And hey, while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and make it 5 stars, huh? Come on. Follow us on TikTok. The same on Instagram. All the socials at Fine Dining Podcast. We have a website, finediningpodcast.com. Buy our t-shirts, then put them on.
And don't forget, you can always suggest where we go next.
Okay, we're going to find it. Mediocrity. The search continues. See you next week.
Hurt my throat a little.
Have a fine day.